Greetings to my friends and my frenemies, those who love me and those who love to hate me. I'm not upset about it. I'm so used to it. I've gotten used to being in environments where individuals hate me without a cause. Or maybe they have a reason. Maybe there's something in me, because I find when individuals, seek to attack or abuse other people they see or think is vulnerable, it's because they see greatness in you. So I'm not going to attack someone who sees greatness in me, and the only way they can deal with that is to hate me. I love you still. Today I want to talk about freedom of speech, and I have a poem regarding that. I'll share it. I think I did already, but freedom of speech has become an ugly byword. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. Or if there is such a thing as freedom of speech, it is limited to only a few people. A few people in this world can say anything they want and have the freedom to do so without repercussions. But on a whole, in general, everyone doesn't have that right. I'm talking about someone thinking that they can come out and talk about any subject they want to talk about in any language that they choose. You don't have that right to do that. Even though for years it's been an illusion that we can just come out and we live in a free world where we can openly express our feelings and our opinion, you best believe it that if that opinion goes against the powerful individuals around you, there will be penalty. When I think about Martin Luther King, this man, great man, who wanted justice for himself and his family, but he also wanted to make sure that everybody had the right to live with dignity. He was a very peaceful man, but he was killed. He was killed for speaking against a system that was unfair. Then came along Malcolm X. This brother didn't believe in peaceful means. He said any means necessary. He also was killed. So you're thinking, well, if someone like Martin Luther King came out and spoke peacefully and his home was bombed, and the other guy comes out and says, well, any means necessary, and they both died the same way. What is this thing about freedom of speech? Okay, let's go to South Africa. Let's talk about Nelson Mandela fighting for the same cause, for dignity, for the right to be in his country where he was born, and to say that I belong here and I don't want to feel like an outsider anymore. He was imprisoned, and his wife was imprisoned, and Steve Biko was imprisoned. So what is the story about freedom of speech? It's not a real word, a real term. It's an ugly byword, and it is a privilege granted to only a few. So what am I ranting about? I want to talk about Chronixx, that very conscious youth in Jamaica that recently came out and posted something on Instagram, and I don't want to paraphrase, I don't remember the exact words, but he was using words that individuals felt were inappropriate. And I don't want to really comment on those words too much because, they're alluding to the fact that he was referring to President Obama. But I love President Obama. I've said that already in my video, and I'm not straying from that. I'm supporting the brother. But that doesn't mean that someone doesn't have the right to come out and express their feeling the way they know how. And so he made comments that they said were inappropriate, and he eventually removed that post. Now, my thing is to Chronixx, if you're listening, is that I admire you so much. You are a little guy full with fire. This guy could be my son. I think he's 24 years old. I don't think he's any older than 25. This young man is a very conscious person who obviously thinks deeply about some issues that concerns him. And because he could be my son, I have to look at him as this young man with this fire in him. There are very few people in the world who has this ability. You know, some of us on a whole might be upset about injustice, and we talk about it amongst each other, but we don't have the strength or the courage to come out and to speak out against it. And I don't judge you for that. But if someone else has the courage to come out and to speak about the thing that bothers them, why do we then gang up on that individual? They have the courage to say what we are thinking. That's a human thing. In the world, human beings have cowardice in them, you know. That's why there's war in the world, because we're cowards. We don't know how to sit down and talk and just even be angry and to air our grievance. And then by talking about it, that's the only way we can have, you know, some kind of resolution. So he made some very strong comments, and, you know, people started ganging up on him. Now, my thing to you, Chronixx, is this. You obviously are a very intellectual young man. You think a lot, and, you know, you don't want to just sit back and just talk about inequality. You want to do something to stop it. I admire you for that. But there's one thing I have to tell you, and it's this. If you want to become rich and famous, then you have to set aside revolutionary talks. If you are more interested in seeing equity among all men, then you can speak your mind and not be concerned about money, because you cannot expect the system that you are criticizing to reward you financially. It's just not going to happen. A revolutionary man will more than likely be killed or will go to prison. That's just how it is. So if you are prepared to go to prison like Muhammad Ali, or you're so passionate about something that you're willing to die for it, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these other revolutionary people, then you stand firm in whatever you think or whatever you're saying. My thing is also to the individuals in Jamaica that is saying that this man is just trying to get a hype. The thing is, trying to get a hype off what? How could you expect to get a hype when you're criticizing the very most powerful person in the Western Hemisphere? How do you expect to get a hype from that? That's just a ridiculous statement. He obviously had time to think about it and decided to go forward, because he's not stupid. Listen to the words that comes out of this young man's mouth. He isn't stupid. He knows what he's doing. But pressures, or, you know, I'm sure he respects authority, and if individuals tell him that maybe that you might not want to go there right now, because they recognize, you know, the power of the few, that when you open your mouth and speak, be prepared to be punished, be prepared to have all your goodies taken from you. Don't start a fight. Don't start a fire that you can't put out, because others will put it out, and they'll put it out along with you. You understand, my brother? So I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not even going to go into the words that you speak. I don't know what was in your mind when you spoke those words. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what, but I think you wanted justice. And I think you wanted to explain your disregard for the fact that, you know, you feel Marcus Garvey was wronged, and you just want to have his name cleared. Continue to think deeply and to stand up for what you believe in. You're young, you have a future ahead of you, and even if some people don't like what you have to say, there are many more people who agree with what you said. Perhaps they wouldn't have used the words that you used, but who am I to critique you? And who am I to tell you what you're supposed to say or think? After all, we're told that we have free speech. Well, you know, that is a lie. There's no such thing as free speech. So saddle up yourself, Get ready to take the licks in whichever form they come when you decide to speak out. When I speak on issues that are hot button topics, I am fully aware that I have more to lose than to gain. I'm not a person of financial means or clout, or I'm not associated to individuals that are powerful. But I believe in a higher power, a higher source that controls all things, that loves me, and that whenever doors are closed, if it is the will of my Father, those doors are opened wide, and I just walk through those doors. So I too am unafraid. I've got nothing to lose except my life or my freedom. And even in the best of circumstances, individuals in the past have lost their lives or their freedom because of the strength or the ability to speak out. If I'm able to reach one person, that is good enough for me. That's why I don't ask people to share or like my videos. I don't do that, because if you're going to share my video, you're going to do so because something that I've said resonate with you. If you're going to like my video, you're going to do so whether I ask you to do so or not. And if you're going to hate or not like my videos, you're going to do so anyway, because some people go on YouTube because they're miserable in their life. They forget that when individuals come on here and they're talking, it's their computer, it's their time, it's their thoughts. At least they have a thought. They have something to say, and they're paying for internet. So they have, and YouTube, most of all, have given them permission to come on here and do this. But individuals are so unhappy or sometimes have no direction in their own lives, so they look out for others to, disrespect on a regular basis. Well, you're welcome to disrespecting me. I welcome every opinion, every thought of my viewers, those who like me or those who don't. I welcome those. You can say whatever you like. You're free. You live in a free country, and sometimes, you're looking for an opportunity to release yourself from some of those painful things or ordeals that you're going through. And what better way to do than to rant on some complete stranger that you don't know, calling them names because you have not developed your vocabulary. That's okay with me. I welcome it. Good or bad or indifferent. I've learned to accept all of these things because of where I live and my circumstances and my experiences. My skin has gotten very thick because when I was not so strong, I was broken by individuals who just went around and said and did anything they felt was possible for them to say. Anyway, Chronixx, continue to do your thing, burn your fire, but know that there are consequences and be prepared to stand up to those. But don't be a coward. If you have the strength in you to do what I can't do or what others can't do, just do your thing and don't listen to, because the very people who criticize you now will turn around one day out of their double mouth and praise you. And oftentimes these individuals who criticize you are waiting for outsiders to come in and to sing your praise. Then they join in. Friends and foes, have yourself a blessed day. Think on these things.